Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. And many times when I'm out in the public, I get asked all kinds of questions. And unfortunately, people sometimes throw me for a loop and ask me something I don't know. And sometimes that involves licensing. So today I've invited Mike Chrisman, our license supervisor, to join me and hopefully help me understand some of these licensing issues that I don't quite know. Mike, let me give you a scenario and then you kind of explain to me a little bit. Say you've got a family that's going to go and spend a weekend at one of our wildlife management areas. Let's say that the dad is going to fish. It's in the summertime. The mom is just going to be hanging out and camping, and then they've got grade school kids that are going to be doing both camping and fishing. Who needs what?
Okay, sure. That's a pretty common situation. Obviously, anybody under the age of 16 is going to be exempt from a fishing license. So the kids, as long as they're under those ages, they're not going to be required to have any of that if they're fishing. Mom, since she's not actually fishing on there, some of our game management areas, our department-owned lands, require the wildlife conservation passport. So she would have to purchase either an annual, which is $26, or a 3-day, which is $15, so she could get a shorter term. And then, of course, if Dad's going to be fishing, he'd need either a 2-day fishing license for $15 or an annual he could buy for $25. Either one of those, as long as it's a valid license, exempts you from the passport.
Okay, and from what I understand, the passport is actually strategically priced just a little bit higher than a hunting or a fishing license. And why would we do that?
Well, at $26, it's $1 more than an annual fishing license. And the idea behind that is that for $1 less, you could basically buy you a hunting or a fishing license, and that could generate participation and also contribute to not only the department, but it can contribute to not only creating anglers and hunters of a new generation or of just another type as well.
That's wonderful. Well, good. Well, that scenario that I gave you is not too far-fetched from what we're going to be doing today. We've got two of our biologists in southwest Oklahoma, Ryan Reiswick and John Perry, that are fisheries biologists that are going to be taking advantage of the great bluegill fishing at Hollis Lake.
Do you think we can catch any today?
I sure hope so.
New department lake here at Sandy Sanders Hollis Lake. I think it should be pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good fishing.
Good bass fishing. I'm excited to catch some sunfish. I don't know about you, most people don't like sunfish, but I know there's some big ones in here.
Yeah.
Pretty cool lake as it is, but I know there's a lot of work we can still do here. Like, we got to get this dam cleared off and clean some of these trees out, put some riprap down. I know we've worked on a lot of our department lakes over the years and made some improvements. Of course, I think we need to get a dock for sure, good parking area, entry road.
Yeah, people really like that.
Yeah. I think it'll be really cool once we get it up and going. It's not bad as it is right now. I'm glad we're here fishing, but it'll be even better once we do some work. Pretty cool place for Oklahoma. Where else can you go in the state and have a public fishing lake that looks like this? I haven't been to place. Have you, John?
No, I haven't.
It's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah.
Here at Sandy Sanders WMA. Some deep holes here. These might be good fishing spots.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about this spot?
Yeah. Looks pretty good, but let's try around the point. I think there's a
Round over there?
Yeah, around over there.
All right.
Yeah, for Oklahoma, this is really clear water.
Yeah, it's extremely clear.
You can see like 5-6 feet down in there.
There's a bass. See if you can get him. You got to be careful, you know. If you can see the fish, they can probably see you. While you fish that, I'm gonna go around, try to get my rods out, try to get on some bluegill.
Oh, missed him again.
Get a bite.
I missed.
Hey, it could be a good day.
Now we're down here by the Hollis Lake. The lake is a really nice fishing area. It has a lot of opportunity for bass, catfish, and bluegill. We have had a lot of interest up to this point from people around the local area that have really enjoyed fishing out here. We've had a lot of families out. We've had people from all of the surrounding communities. They've came out, and everyone seems to be very happy to have a place to fish now, because our droughty end of the state here, where fishing opportunity has been very limited here for the past several years, and it's nice to have an opportunity to get out and take the family fishing.
Well, I'm gonna try to catch some sunfish today, whether that be bluegill or red ear. This lake's got some really good sunfish in it. I've got it's called a slit bobber on. This might be a little more complicated than we really need. Just a regular old bobber will work. But this way I can change depths really easy. I don't really know how deep the fish are today, so this is gonna let me try different depths, get the bait down to different depths, and hopefully we can locate some and catch them. We'll see what happens. Here we go. Fish on. Look at that. That is a nice bluegill. Check that out, John.
It's a nice one. What are you fishing with today?
I just got night crawlers on. Talk about hand size, look at that.
It's a really nice one.
It was a nice fish. A lot of people don't get that excited about them, but I do. I think they're fun to catch. They're easy to catch. John, I think your son would enjoy this, and I know my daughter would. We got to bring them out here sometime.
Yeah, they would really love it out here.
That's just a bluegill. Can you imagine how big the red ear are in here? I'm gonna get him back.
Well, right now I'm just using a ultralight rod, and I have a little, almost the smallest Rapala they make. It's, I'm not sure the model number, but works good for bass and sunfish. I'm using, it's a 6-foot ultralight rod. I have a 6-pound fire line on here with a 4-pound fluorocarbon leader, about the last 4 feet of it. In this clear water, you need to use a clear leader. If I was using just this fire line, it's black and the fish could see it. So.
Well, here at this lake, you can expect to catch decent sized largemouth bass, and by that I mean 14 to 16-inch bass. There's quite a few of them in this lake. Also really nice sunfish, both bluegill and red ear. We've got some really big sunfish in this lake. Probably some of the bigger sunfish in southwestern Oklahoma are going to be found in this lake right now. And also some decent channel catfish.
I'm going to throw one more time over here.
We might be able to just sight fish them, I don't know.
This one dives pretty deep. I mean, it's running 5-6 feet, so it's.
Well, if you spend any time out here on the WMA, you realize that this is a really unique place. It kind of reminds me of like the Badlands in South Dakota, the different rock formations and things like that. But then this lake here is kind of just an oasis in the desert, if you will. Really clear water, some of the clearest water that you're going to find in this part of the country here. And just a great spot to get away, enjoy nature, catch a few fish. Sightsee, hike, you name it, you can do it out here. The bluegill and red ear are pretty big in this lake due to the fact that we have a pretty good bass population. Now, we don't have gigantic, huge bass here, but we have a lot of them. And because of that, they're able to keep the small sunfish in check, if you will. They eat a lot of the small bluegill, a lot of the small red ear, which allows the fish that do survive to grow to a big size. Well, in order to get a trophy sunfish fishery or bluegill fishery, one thing that obviously they need to do is be able to grow well. And the way that's accomplished is you know, having enough food or enough resources to grow. But when you have quite a few small bass, they're able to keep the sunfish population in check. So they eat a lot of small sunfish. When that happens, the ones that are able to escape the bass and grow, once they kind of pass that threshold that they can get past the mouths of the bass, they have plenty of resources to grow. And so that's how you end up with really big bluegill and red ear and so on. So a lot of times we hear about stunted bass as a bad thing, and of course if you're trying to catch trophy bass, it's not good, but it really does help the sunfish population. We're fortunate here in the sense that the bass that we do have, they're not really small. They're not those 10, 12 inchers that you see at a lot of farm ponds. We've got bass that are probably more in the 14 to 16 inch range, which are still really fun to catch. And of course, they're keeping the bluegill population in check.
Boy, they got sharp fins. That was on a panfish assassin. Definitely pan-sized fish.
Well, if you're coming out here to fish, I suggest bringing a backpack. This is kind of a walk-in type area, so you're going to need to bring all the stuff that you need for an afternoon of fishing. So bring your tackle box, a couple bottles of water, maybe a snack or two, your fishing poles, and a good pair of hiking boots. And just take a stroll around the lake and find all these little secret fishing spots that somebody else might not have found yet along the shore and in the cattails here. This lake does not allow boats, and the reason for that is we're trying to prevent golden algae from becoming established in this lake. Many people from around this area and across the state have heard about what's happened at Altus Lugert. Altus Lugert Lake experienced a fish kill due to golden algae. Because golden algae is so easily spread by water trapped in boat hulls or live wells, things like that, we didn't want to allow boats on this lake. The hope is to prevent golden algae from spreading here and causing problems like we've seen at some of the other lakes in this part of the state.
You want to try going back to where we started, see if we can catch anything over there?
What?
You want to go back over to where we started?
Sure.
Okay. So you got a new rod. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, you're gonna like this story. I picked this bad boy up Friday at a garage sale. You know me, I can't pass up a good garage sale. And sure enough, Abu Garcia custom graphite, $5.
Good deal.
Yeah. Want me to help you land him?
Come on. Oh, he's in your line.
Pound line you got there?
6, I think. Thank you.
Yeah. Wish I could claim him. I guess I'll give him to you. He's your fish.
This is a nice size fish to catch on a 6-foot ultralight rod. Pretty fun. Not an enormous bass, but for on an ultralight, that's.
Did you say that's pretty typical for here, Doc Hollis?
I would say so.
Yes.
Lots of these out here.
You know, Mike, since we actually videoed that little segment with Ryan and John, they've been hard at work improving that area by putting in a parking lot and even a handicap accessible fishing pier. And that reminds me of another question that I get asked a lot. What are the different exemptions for a fishing license?
Sure, that's a good question. We get that a lot at the license section. One is the biggest one I mentioned earlier was the residents under 16 don't have to purchase a fishing license, so the kids can go fishing without having to buy one. But what a lot of people don't know is out-of-towners, depending upon the state, if they're under 16, they can go without a license as well. Basically, any state that has a youth exemption for those under 16 and they're listed in the regulations, you don't have to buy a fishing license. Another common one is those that are permanently confined to wheelchairs. They're exempt from a fishing license as well. And then our resident disabled veterans that have a 60% or higher disability rating, they're exempt from a fishing license as well.
Okay. Now, you know, I'm a little ways off from thinking about retirement, but at some point I'm going to reach that magical age where I can get a cheaper license, right?
Sure, we do have the resident senior citizen lifetime fishing license. We have that, the combination, the hunting available as well. It's $15 for fishing, and you're eligible the calendar year you turn 65. So it doesn't have to be the day you turn 65. You're eligible any point during the calendar year you turn it.
So if my birthday's in December, but January 1, I'd be eligible to buy that essentially almost a year early then, right?
You got it, that's right.
Oh, great. Okay, well, good deal. You know, we're going to look a little bit more at Sandy Sanders and the great opportunities there are down there at this week's Destination Outdoors.
Today we're at Sandy Sanders Wildlife Management Area, located about 25 miles northwest of Mangum. It's a unique area that the department has owned since 1986 when we bought the original piece of property. It's far enough from the bigger population centers in Oklahoma City that it's kind of a well-kept secret down here from most of the population. It's a unique area to the state because the type of vegetation and the terrain around here is much different than what you'll find in any other region of the state. We have the red-berried juniper makes up a dominant species around here, and this is one of the few areas in the state that you will find this. Otherwise, it's made up mostly of mesquite grassland, rough, rugged terrain, high mesas, and creeks that used to flow through the area, but the last several years of drought, we haven't done very well on moisture. So being right here by this lake, this particular body of water is pretty unique to the area. We still managed to maintain a very nice wildlife population. We have both white-tailed deer, mule deer, Rio Grande wild turkey. One of the things that limits a bigger number of turkeys being out here, we don't have a very good number of roost trees on the area. There are good numbers of turkeys that roost fairly close to here on private land, and when turkeys break up in the spring, we get birds that move up into the area and make a pretty nice huntable population. This year we have had a larger number of turkey hunters than we have in the past several years, and it seems like everybody's been having pretty good luck. We'd like to invite you to come out and see all of the area. It's a vast area now. We just a little under 30,000 acres in the entire area now, so you can come out, look at the hunting opportunities, look at the terrain around here, see what this part of the state is like. Come on out and see us in Southwest Corner.
You know, Mike, the great thing about technology now is that there are several options for people to get their information about licensing as well as where to buy their license.
Sure, absolutely. WildlifeDepartment.com, our department website, not only has the fishing regulations that include our license requirements and exemptions, but also we have a whole license page at the top of the page, the license heading, where you can buy your license online, or you can learn more about our lifetime licenses and other licenses that you may need.
That's great. You know, while you're on the internet on wildlifedepartment.com, that'd be a great opportunity for you to connect with us on social media. We answer questions about licensing every day through social media. Hey, thanks for joining us today. For Mike and the rest of the Wildlife Department, I'm Todd Craighead, and we'll see you right here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.